Part 9, the lies he told. I stated at the very end of part 8 that I was going to get back to the timeline of our relationship so that I can really get down to the nitty gritty of why I am doing this testimony. I do want to clarify a couple of things before I start part 9, however, because I do see all of your comments, the negative ones and the positive ones. To address a couple of the negative ones, I understand that you may be confused. Maybe you're expecting me to be exactly like Miss Risa Tisa. That's not going to happen. I'm a totally different woman and I have a totally different story. It may sound similar, but trust and believe, hands were thrown in mine to the point where almost was some killing happening. So I'll get to that. But, you know, let me just be clear that I'm going to tell this story the way that I'm going to tell it. And if you can't stick around for it, try to go and watch somebody else, because it looks like a lot of women now are coming out with their own story. So thank you for sticking around how you have, but I'm gonna keep moving, pushing forward. Another thing that I want to clarify, I see a lot of people are still confused about the whole car situation with the tag. That was his mama's car. That was his mama's tag. Okay. The alleged baby was not his real daughter. His dad told me that, and I confirmed that that was not his real baby. I also confirmed that he was never married. I have also confirmed that he never owned a house with his ex-wife. I confirmed that his ex-wife was not in Germany teaching. I have confirmed a lot of things so far. So if you hadn't gotten caught up, try to watch parts 1 through 8. And now we're going back to part 9. All right. So moving along with the timeline, it's all screwed up, guys. It's extremely screwed up. I don't have dates. I'm gonna just be honest. Just keep in mind, my initial meeting with him was January 5th. By the end of January or the beginning of February, we met at my house to have pizza, to have a discussion. We did have a one-night stand that night. He never left. He gradually started moving things in over a course of time. February 28th, we got engaged. In March, sometime in March, I met his mom. Let's not forget, I had already met the dad in February. And so around April, May-ish, we are trying to do premarital counseling. So that's the timeline of the events right there. Also in March, we did go to Mississippi to meet my family. So that's the timeline right there. Short, sweet, simple. Don't add none to it. Don't take none away from it. It's cool. We got married June 29th, 2020. Before we got married, there are a couple of things that I want to note before the marriage started. Both of us have always had 2 cellular devices, one personal, one for work. I assumed that his second phone was always from work. He told me that the co-owners of Phil and Derek's bought that phone for him, and that's his work phone. That's where he get his work emails. That's where customers can call to make reservations in with him, leave bad reviews, whatever the case may be. I literally believed all of that. Come to find out, that was a lie. That was another phone that man had that he was paying the bill on, because I could never understand why that phone kept getting cut off. He could not handle 2 phone bills, because mind you, he's still paying all of my household bills. He paying everything. However, I am the type to go through the phones. I am. So I'm going to get to that a little bit later. So before marrying him, I sat in the tub one night, and this will be extremely hard for me to get out. So just bear with me. The night before I married that man, I had already been praying. I had already been asking God, you know, please fix him. And I know that's the wrong prayer. I do. I ain't no weak Christian. Now I'm pretty put together, but at that time in my life, I was vulnerable. I desired to be married. I really did. I said, God, I have been praying for this man. I have been praying for this relationship. I have been praying over this baby that isn't here yet. I do really, really care for him. And I really think and really know that he cares for me and my son. And I was talking about my oldest at the time. I said, so I need a sign. I need you to let me know if this is my husband or not. Immediately in my spirit, I felt no. I heard an audible voice tell me, this is not your husband. No. My mom was in town. My mom and my sister, they were at the house with me. And I never told them this. But God told me no. He told me no. And that next day, I still went along with it. And the sign that God gave me after telling me no was him coming home. And we had a disagreement about something. And he looked at me and he said, you ain't got to marry me if you don't want to. That should have been my chance there to say, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm probably not. We can go ahead and call all this shit off. I was the one that paid for the ceremony at the judge's office. Because we didn't get married at a courthouse. We got married at a law firm. Y'all know that attorneys are judges. So, or judges are attorneys. I'm sorry. So we got married at his law firm office. We could only have a maximum of 12. His dad and his stepmom were the only two that showed up. His mother was not in attendance. But God had already showed me in so many ways, from the lies and from the behavior that was coming, that he was not meant to be my husband. I moved extremely fast with this man. I fell for the okie doke. I was stupid. I was confused as well. I was extremely vulnerable. And my heart felt that we could make it work. My heart felt that. Don't ever listen to your heart. Don't ever listen to your heart. Listen to God. Listen to God, because God will never, ever fail you. And now I would like to move on to part 10 to take you through, after the ceremony, everything that occurred until the end of my divorce. Part 10, the lies he told. So right after the ceremony, we go to this restaurant in the Woodlands. It was a seafood restaurant. We got married on a Sunday, and my mom and my sister, they had to fly back out. So it was just me, him, my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law, like the stepmother-in-law. I guess that's how you would phrase it. And so we're there. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm in la la land. I'm like, you know what? I'm finally married. I'm Mrs. such and such. And I said, this feels amazing. We went home that night, do what lovers do. And, you know, we moving on with life. I'm currently working from home. You know, I'm pregnant. My boss at the time was like, hey, I don't want you to come in. I don't need you to be exposed. You know, I want you and the baby to, you know, be okay. So as time moves on, he was still actively working. He would come home, you know, things were on the up and up. Then all of a sudden one day I got a messenger message from a young lady. For purposes of this story, her name is Erica. And Erica reached out and said, would you divorce your husband if he was cheating on you? And she just kept typing, like kept hitting, and it went to my message request. So I didn't initially see it at first. And so she was like, I really need you to contact me. I need you to hit me up. Is there any way that I can get your number? She just going. And I'm like, man, who is this woman? Who is this? So by the time I get to like her Facebook page or whatever, I get her full name. And I asked Jared, I say, Jared, do you know this woman? He tells me, yeah, that's a stalker bitch. I said, a stalker bitch? He said, yeah, man, I was fucking with that girl for a little minute, man, and she just downright crazy. She done hit up every woman that I done been with since her. Don't pay her no mind, yada, yada, yada. I said, okay. And I said, so how she get my information because you got her blocked on. He told me she was blocked on everything. He said, man, I don't know. She probably went to my daddy page, seen your name, because his daddy did post pictures nonstop of me. Always posted pictures of us together, posted pictures of our marriage, posted pictures of me. When I would post pictures, he would repost the pictures. Just, I mean, was my dog for real. Still to this day, my nigga. And so I said, okay, that's kind of strange. So I responded back to her, being the woman that I am, coming woman to woman. Hey sis, I'm Mrs. such and such, Mrs. MRS period, being the biggest dumb bitch in the world. I said, I know my motherfucking man. He go to work, he come home, he ain't, I already know that you a stalker. I know this, that, and the third. And so I blocked him. This woman did try reaching out to me on Instagram later on, in the story, all of that type of stuff. And I am going to get back to her. So something led me to start going through his devices. He did have 2 phones, one personal, one work phone. So I would always go through his phone when he was asleep. The reason I started going through his phone was because the phones would start vibrating in the middle of the night. Who calling you at 3 o'clock? Who calling you at 3? People were texting and contacting him from text-free numbers. I would try to call the number back. It would say, welcome to text-free, or however the little audio go when they don't answer the phone. So I'm like, all right, that's strange. Who are all these numbers, these random numbers? I had no idea who these people were. And at the time, I didn't even know if it was multiple people. I just thought that it might have been the crazy woman that he claimed was a stalker bitch. Come to find out, that wasn't the case at all. It wasn't the case. So I would still go and visit him, like at the restaurant and things like that. And one night he came home and he said, babe, I'm about to start applying for other jobs. I said, what's wrong with feeling Derrick's? He was like, to be honest with you, babe, I ain't trying to be up there no more. I said, okay. He said, they working me like a Hebrew slave. I need to make adjustments because you're about to get ready to have this baby, because my due date was November 15th. He said, so I need to make sure that I am at a place where I can get FMLA, because believe it or not, he did tell me that at Phil and Derrick's, he did not have any insurance benefits whatsoever. And I believed him because, I mean, it was, I ain't gonna even say to come in because y'all will fire me up about that. But, more businesses that are us's, they don't offer a lot of benefits. Sometimes you can barely get paid. Sometimes. So he started actively looking for other positions. He finally landed at Fish City Grill in Sugar Land, Texas. We at the time lived on the border of Cypress, Texas. So Sugar Land is a hike. It ain't that bad, but it ain't down the street either. Phil and Derrick's wasn't down the street either, but all right. And so he says, babe, I got an interview. They're going to be paying me, I want to say that man told me they were going to be paying him $65,000 a year. It was going to come with benefits, insurance, FMLA. So it worked out perfect. I said, okay, babe, that's perfect. He said, so when this lease is up here, I will commute right now, which he did. He commuted for a good 4 or 5 months. He said, I will start commuting, but when the lease is up, let's try to look for a house. And then, maybe we can find something that'll be closer out that way. See, the thing about a narcissist is they'll try to isolate you from your family, because my family lives out here in Cypress. Yes, I'm from Mississippi, but my Mississippi family, they're out here. My help is out here. I said, okay, babe, we married. So, I'm like, all right, I'm going to support you. We going to do such and such. So he starts working at Fish City Grill. When he starts working at Fish City Grill, one beautiful day in October, I am headed out for not only a nail appointment, but I am headed out for to vote. It was voting time. I don't even know who I was going to vote for, but I was going to vote. I get to the 3rd stair in the townhome. I slip and fall, and I roll over. And when I picked my leg up, my foot was hanging like Dak Prescott was. I had broke my ankle in 3 places. There was no one at home with me. He was in Sugar Land and Fish City Grill. The God thing about this is that I had my key in my hand that had the fob to the garage, so that anybody that needed to come through, they could come through the garage, whether there was the paramedics, anybody in my family. So I immediately called my cousin, Coco. And Coco said, hey, what's up? I am in pain. I'm crying. And I tell her, I just fell down the stairs. I'm about to give birth by November 15th. It had to be like October, maybe 20th. Don't quote me on a date. And I said, I just fell. I fell down the stairs. She like, oh shit, I'm on my way. She calling 911. They both make it around the same time. They get me up on the stretcher. She's on the phone with Jared. She's like, hey, she just fell down the stairs. He's panicking. He's like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm coming to get there. I'm going to be there. I get to the emergency room. It takes him quite a while to get there because he's coming from Sugar Land. And I'll finish the story in part 11. Part 11, the lies he told. So he makes it to the hospital. He has relieved Coco. She's headed out. I believe she had to go to work that day, but we truly appreciated her coming through. Shout out to you, Coco. He gets on the phone. He calls my parents. He calls my job. He lets everybody know what has happened. And he's there. He's present. At that time, he was the husband that I needed him to be. It came back that I had broke my ankle in 3 different places. All of us knew that surgery was going to have to happen. Surgery had to happen before I had the baby. This happened mid-October, and I was scheduled to give birth on November 15th. I don't do C-sections, guys, and that might be a little TMI, but I did not know that I wasn't going to make it to November 15th. First baby, I made it full term. I actually had him a week late. So with this baby, it was different. I went into my provider. They let me know, hey, we're going to have surgery scheduled. I think I fell like on a Tuesday, and surgery was I think surgery was that following Tuesday, like the next Tuesday. So I was in a splint at home for a while. I went to the hospital. I had the surgery. He was there when I woke up. He made sure everybody knew that I was fine. And we went home. Now, I lived in a townhouse, so everything was on the 2nd floor. Where things started getting shaky for me, and when I noticed that this probably wasn't going to be a nice ride moving forward because I was immobile, I could not make it up the stairs. I was a lot bigger than him at the time, and there was no way that he could carry me up the stairs. So guys, I had to use my arm strength to get up the stairs, 1 stair at a time, pulling myself with my upper body strength. It was hurtful. It was painful because I was pregnant. He still continued to go to work. He never stayed at home with me. He never told his boss like, hey, my wife needs me at home. I just really sat there and had to figure out life on my own. I still had to go to my appointments at the doctor. So when I went to the doctor, to my OBGYN told me within the next 2 weeks, because that's when I had a OBGYN, the next appointment. And she told me, she said, hey, you're only 2 centimeters dilated. I said, I'm dilating already? I said, the baby ain't due though till like November 15th. She was like, yeah, well, you 2 centimeters dilated. She said, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you gonna have these Braxton Hicks. So just, deal with it. I mean, I know that you're in pain because of your ankle, but it is what it is. And during this time I had a knee scooter. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna deal with it. And so I'm still inching myself up the stairs every now and again. I went to the doctor on a Wednesday. That night at 11 o'clock, my water broke. I was about to get ready to have that baby. He was at home, and the way that he handled it, it broke my heart. He was in more of a panic and an attitude than I could ever be. I was so calm. I called my grandma. I called my mom and I said, y'all, my water just broke. I'm about to get ready to have this baby. They said, and you can't walk? I said, I can't walk. I can't get down the stairs. Called the ambulance. 4 of the most gracious men came and they said, we're not going to drop you. We got you. I was so scared. I had so much anxiety because I had already had anxiety from falling down those stairs, and to be taken down on a stretcher, pregnant, water broke, my husband all over the place, just a lot. I didn't even have my bag packed to go to the hospital. So I make it to the hospital. You know, during COVID, there were certain restrictions. There was no way that it took my husband 4 hours to get to me while I was sitting in a room by myself going through those contractions. I have no idea where that man was for 4 hours. No idea. I sat in the room and it was like the emergency room. So I sat there by myself having those contractions. They could not give me anything. They could not give me anything because I was on blood thinners. I did not have an epidural. I had that baby just as natural. And I suffered through all of those things. All of those things. They finally put me in a room. There was no doctor in the room, but there was a nurse in the room and a nurse that was in training in the room. At around 3:30, my beautiful baby boy popped out with no doctor in that room and rolled on that bed. And he was at the bottom of the bed to catch it. And as soon as he caught that baby, he fell out. Fell out. And so I'm crying. I'm trying to, get myself together because now everybody rushing in the room. Doctors coming in. Everybody, they like, oh my God, oh my God. So they're putting the baby under the light or whatever that is to the right. And they come to me and they said, ma'am, your husband is going to be okay. And I looked and I said, what you mean my husband going to be okay? They said he fell out. I had no idea that none of this had happened. I said, what you mean he had fell out? Do y'all know when that bitch came back in that room, he looked at me and he said, I can't even look at you right now because I saw you with all of your insides hanging out of your body. And that disgusts me. That disgusts me. And after hearing him say that, my whole world shut down. One of the most beautiful times of my life was a complete joke and a complete insult at that point. That man got on that couch to the left of my bed and he slept for the rest of the night. And I sat up and I looked at that beautiful baby. And I knew then that this marriage was not going to last longer at all. Because how could you say that to me after having your first baby? How could you say that to somebody? You gagging, you making the same, doing that while telling me. That's the most fucked up thing that you could tell a mother that just could have lost her life for bringing life. How could you do that? I'm on a knee scooter still. My ankle, messed up. He left that next morning and he went to work. I was there by myself with the nurses. And I knew that I was in good hands because I was at the hospital. You always in good hands when you're at the hospital. But shout out to those nurses because they helped me. I appreciate that. So he would come back after he got off of work and everything. But it wasn't the same because he told me prior that he had FMLA. Then part 12, the lies he told. So I contacted the job, his manager at his job, and they did not know that I had the baby. They told me that, hey, we will allow him to have as much time as he needs off, but he would need to let us know this type of information because he hasn't said anything. We knew that you were expecting. We just didn't know that you had already had the baby. I said, okay. He said he did tell us about the ankle, but he never told us anything about you having the baby. But congratulations. I said, thank you so much. He got upset with me for calling his boss. Why would you do that? Why would you call up there? I need this job. I said, what is the problem? Like, you have FMLA. Why didn't you submit the paperwork? He went all around the world about, I did submit it. And, they told me that I hadn't been there long enough to get it, yada, yada, yada. But they told me that I could use my PTO days. Now, I do know that sometimes you do have to be on a job for a little minute before you can do FMLA. Now, I don't know about restaurant jobs, but I know in corporate America, you can't just get a job there and be 7 months pregnant and then expect for them to give you FMLA in 2 months. It really don't work that way. But, and if your job do it, don't knock mine, because mine don't do that. But anyway, so I believed that. I was like, okay, no problem. So I get out of the hospital. We get home. It should not be a surprise that he never did get up with the baby at night. I slept on the couch. When I slept on the couch, I would get up with my knee scooter when the baby cried. I would go to my little baby breezer, make him a bottle, give him the bottle, burp him, go back to sleep. I did that tirelessly until I couldn't anymore, until I really didn't need the knee scooter no more, none of that stuff, okay? So I had him on October 29th. My mother and my aunt came into town for Thanksgiving. They came in, they helped me. They did laundry. They did, running errands for me. Like if I needed something, they just really came through in the clutch. My mom, she couldn't come as soon as I had the baby, but I am appreciative of when they were able to make it, because they stayed with me for quite a bit. And I really, really appreciate that. He cooked a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner for us. One thing I did tell y'all, he could kick his ass off. He really could. So he did that. We fellowshipped, we ate, we communed with one another, and then, they left. When they left, I pretty much was stuck, because I said, shit, my help gone now, because he was still getting up. He was still going to work, still getting up, still going to work. My sister ended up coming in town. Now, before I tell these details about this story, I want to make sure that y'all do understand that my sister is not a violent individual. Between the two of us, I can get with you. I really can. And my sister is the sweetest, most patient woman in the world. And this is also going to be hard for me to tell, because my sister has never, ever, ever seen me the way that she saw me that day. So my sister comes into town. I had a couple of visitors over when she was here, so that they could see the baby. Like I said, this is December 2020. We're still in COVID. So I had just a couple people over there. One night, I was on the phone with my cousin. Me and my cousin, we worked together. And me and my cousin, we were discussing something. And I am a big, big motivator, like encourager. And if you put that shit on, I'm going to let you know you don't put that shit on. And my cousin, he a noob. So obviously I made some sort of, I can't get my words together today, y'all. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I gave him a compliment. I'm so sorry, y'all. My mind is, because I'm trying to get the story out. I complimented him on something. Obviously, my husband heard it over the phone. Now, he was cool with my cousin. So cool that my cousin was his best man at our little ceremony that we had. There was no rhyme or reason for why he decided to get upset. My husband came in. I said, babe, hey, I'm about to Uber eat some Popeyes. What you want from Popeyes? He was like, give me a minute. I'm going to let you know. I'm still on the phone with my cousin. I let my cousin go. Me and my sister, we're discussing the conversation that I had just had with my cousin. Jared walked back through and he creates a whole scene. Who you was on the phone with, going in. And I said, what you got an attitude for? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? So it's a misunderstanding in the house. Now, my sister here. One thing you're not going to do, you're not going to embarrass me in front of family. If there's an issue, let's go to the room. Let's talk about it. Don't act no fool in front of my sister, because you'll get your ass slapped. You know, when it come down to my folks, don't do that. So I look at him and I say, man, what the fuck wrong with this man? What is going on? So I look at my sister look at me, and I said, I don't know what's wrong with him. He stormed out the door. He got his book bag on. I'm leaving. I said, so where you going? I need some space. You need fucking space. Oh, okay. What you upset about? So there was nothing for him to be upset about. Let me be clear. Whatever I was talking to my cousin about, it wasn't nothing for him to get upset about. Whatever me and my sister was talking about, it was nothing that could have offended him. He got so mad, he left the house, y'all. He left that house and did not come back that night. I told my sister, I said, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of this shit because I get up every night with his fucking baby. I'm going in. My sister is like, I know. And she calm as she can be. And I broke down in front of my fucking sister, man. I broke down in front of my sister, man. And I went in and I told her, I said, I don't deserve this shit. I done did a lot for this nigga, man. I done did a lot, you know. And so my sister had never seen me get like that. She had never seen me get like that. And my sister held me, man. She held me up that night. Did I love her for that? I love her for that shit, man. I do. So I called him that night and I said, man, where you at? Where you at? Oh, I got a room. You got a room? I said, what you going to get a room for? I told you I need some fucking space. I need some space. So my mind is everywhere because we just went from babe, what you want from Popeyes, to you walking in, acting a fool about something so small. And y'all, to be honest, I don't even remember what it was, but it wasn't nothing for him to get upset about. And he stormed out that door and he did not come back that night. That next day, it might have been around 1 or 2 o'clock. I called his phone and I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm at the barber shop. I said, you at the barber shop? One thing about him, that nigga went to the barber shop every week. I said, you coming home? He said, I don't know. I ain't thought about it yet. I said, I tell you what, I'm finna call your motherfucking mama and you can come get your shit out of my house. He said, bet. You don't never tell me bet. Part 12. Part 13, the lies he told. So after he told me over the phone, he didn't really know when he was going to be coming back to the house. He also told me in that conversation that he had to go to work. So there was no way that he was coming back at that point in time when I needed him to. I don't know why I pushed the issue, but I did. And I told him, I said, you know, hey, I'm going to call your mama. I called his mama. I said, are you at work today? She always had an attitude with me. Always. Never liked me. I said, are you at work today? And she said, no, I'm off, but what's up? I said, so I'm putting him out. I need you to probably come and get some of his things because I'm at a point right now where if you don't come get it, I'm going to start putting it in trash bags because I did put them in trash bags. And I said, I'm going to start throwing them down the stairs. And when it makes it outside, it's going to be up to all these neighbors to have a free pick of all these J's that I done bought him, all the clothes that I bought him, watches that I've got him, just the things that I know for a fact that people would probably want for free. So if you don't want that to happen to your baby boy, you might want to come and pick it up. And I said it just like that. She said, bet, give me about an hour. I'll be over that way. Said it so calmly. What she didn't tell me was that she was going to be coming with a friend. And what she also didn't tell me is that she had contacted Jared and said, I'm on my way to that girl's apartment. You might want to meet me over there because I'm also going to call the sheriff to accompany us. Why did you need the sheriff to come? I told y'all the bags was going to be at the door. You didn't need to bring nobody to me. So sheriffs come. They knock on the door. I ended up getting into a whole argument with her from the balcony. And we going back and forth. I'm calling her a bitch. She calling me a bitch. He shouldn't have never married your stupid ass. I told you that, I told him that you wasn't shit. I knew that you was going to do him wrong and all that type of shit. And I said, do him wrong? Bitch, I done paid for more shit than you probably done bought in your whole life. I went off. Everything that he had ever told me about her, about how, she was a young hoe, all that type of stuff, I had went off. I said, and Pop done told me, because I said his real name. I said, and by the way, Pop told me that he didn't even know if Jared was his motherfucking baby back in the day with your hoe ass. I'm going in. I'm going in, bro. I done went for the juggler. Do you hear me? And so she was like, he said that? She going in. That motherfucker ain't told you that. So I called him on the phone. I said, man, Cece over here acting a fool. She over here, because now mind you, I'm going with the tag name. I said, Cece over here acting a fool, bruh. You better come get your baby mama before I kill her. I'm saying all types of stuff. And he was like, calm down, daughter, calm down. What he done did. I told Dad everything. Now, I'm on the phone with him while I'm sitting on the balcony. She's still down there. Yeah, bitch, I bet you won't bring your ass outside. Now, her friend hyping the shit up. She ain't gonna come. She ain't gonna come with that fucked up ankle. They down there acting in. They going in. And I told her if I ever catch her in these streets, she ain't got to worry about it. There won't be no talking. It won't. So, sheriffs pull up. They say, ma'am, we understand that you don't want to let her in. But please let him in because he wants to verify that all of his things have been placed in these garbage bags. He want to make sure he want to do a walkthrough to make sure that nothing else in this house is his. Because obviously you guys are about to go into a separation mode and we are just here to make sure that he gets all of his things. I said, I have no problem with that. I go downstairs myself because by this time, if I can remember correctly, I'm in a boot. This was in December now. So I go downstairs and I let the sheriff in and I let him in. And I slammed the door in the mama face. She, let me at that bitch. Acting a fool outside. Do you know that bitch had the audacity to get on top of my government car and start twerking? And her friend recorded it. Why would you do that? Just stupid. So he comes in. He comes in. He goes through. And he said, I believe I got everything. He did take like something that was in the bathroom. It might have been like a bag that had like a cologne or something in it. But he pretty much took everything out of it. And then they left. And that was it. He did not say anything to me about the baby. The baby was actually in the home. He didn't kiss the baby. He didn't say, bye, son. None of that shit. Now, it's important to note, too, that when our baby came, he never really cared for our baby. But he always, and to this day, he still claims my oldest as his boy. He always cared about my oldest. Always. And he never really showed that type of love to the baby. I didn't pay attention to that red flag either. The reason that I felt like he really didn't pay attention to his own baby is because the baby looked exactly like him. I believe our baby just it's a reflection of him. The baby looks exactly like him. I believe that's why. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I'm not in his head. So he leaves. We don't talk for a couple of days. I told my sister, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't get married to get divorced. None of us do. But I fucked up. I did. I told her, I said, I fucked up and I don't know how to make it right. And she was encouraging. She was motivation for me. And she told me, she said, it's going to be all right. It all worked out in the end. It all worked out in the end. And she did not lie. Because it does. She got back on the plane. She left. And I was back at home by myself again. He contacted me and he told me, he said, and this was a few days past. He said, I've been doing some thinking. I was wrong. He said, I was mad about some other shit and I took it out on you. But I want to make things right. I want to come home. This had to be the dumbest thing that I could have ever done. I let that man come back home. He said, I've been staying at, it was like a Regency Inn. He FaceTimed me from the Regency Inn. He was at the room by himself. But I don't believe that he went to the Regency Inn just to be there by himself. I do believe that he was probably there with other women. I'll get into that shit later. But I told him, I said, I did not marry you for us to be going through, you know, a divorce so soon and annulment at this point. Because, I mean, shit, it ain't even been 6 months at this point. I said, so, well, it had been. If it was December, yeah, it had been about 6 months. And I told him, I said, so I don't want to, like, go through a divorce. I'm willing to try if you willing to try, but I need you to come home, bro. Like, what you doing? You know? And he was like, you know, I'm coming home. And he did. He came home. He put all of his things back in the place that it was. And then we continue to resume life that way. Part 14, the lies he told. So he comes back and we regroup. We resume our lie. We get into another little spat because I found some stuff in his phone. Remember I told y'all previously about Erica. When he came back home, I looked through his phone. Most women look through messages. Most people look through pictures. Some people look through browser history. I look at bank statements. I look at Cash App. I look at Zelle. I look at all that shit. So I went through his Cash App. And Erica was named Erica in his phone. Picture was there and everything. The woman that he told me was a stalker bitch. She had requested a $40 Cash App, and the reason for the Cash App was wasted gas. This was on one of the nights that he claimed that he was staying in the Regency Inn. On top of that, I found messages with them, and she was saying, you know, why you didn't answer the phone? What the fuck you doing? You want me to come or not? So it was obvious at this point that he was cheating on me. I confronted him about it. I said, why was she requesting $40 for gas, for wasted gas? I said, where was she coming to? He said, I told you that bitch crazy. I said, well, what about the text messages? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, open up your phone right now. Let me show you, because I seen the shit this morning. When that man opened up that phone, the messages were gone. Completely gone. I said, so you wiped your whole fucking phone clean when you got up? Damn, that's crazy. You must have knew I had went through your shit. He was like, why the fuck you going through my phone anyway? I said, why the fuck is bitches requesting $40 for wasted gas? Why? And why would it be the stalker bitch? That's not making any sense to me, Jared. I don't understand. So we had a spat right before Christmas. We got into it real bad. And so he woke up on Christmas Eve and he said, let's get out of here and let's take the baby down to my dad in Lufkin. We left that morning and I was so excited to see Pop, because I told y'all that's the realest nigga that ever was born. I got down there, and at this point, y'all, my mind, my body, I was just in a different world. Because at this point, I realized that I was going through postpartum depression. And I was also having some thoughts. And you guys know what kind of thoughts. Because I was dealing with a baby full time, basically on my own. I was dealing with shit in the marriage with him. Found out he was cheating. And then it really wasn't nothing that I could do to wrap my head around how the hell I got here so fast. Because I'm telling y'all, I did the dumbest shit in the world. All of this shit, now that I'm replaying this back and telling y'all my story, this is some shit that you see and that you look at the next woman and be like, girl, I'm so glad that ain't me. But it was me. And it hurt, man. Because all of this could have been prevented if I didn't even call that damn place back. It's my fault. It's my fault. So we go down there to his dad. And, you know, his dad is so happy. We got pictures of him holding the baby. And he's so sweet. He's so sweet. And so we stay down there. And we get a hotel and everything. And we stay down there with them. We come back. He goes back to work. Things happen like usual. On December 30th. This definitely ain't gonna look too good for me. On December 30th. I went to Don McGill Toyota in Katy. He had been driving my 2018 RAV4 so much back and forth to Sugar Land. I noticed that when he would put a vehicle, whether it was mine or his, in reverse, before it would stop rolling back, he would hike it and drive. So therefore, you know, it would, you know, it's like a bounce thing. I know that that's bad for your car. I don't know nothing about cars, but I know that's pretty bad for your car. So it felt like my truck started missing all of a sudden. So I told him, I said, hey, I'm finna go. Me and the baby, we're going down to, we're going to go down to Don McGill, and I'm going to see if I can get another truck. He said, okay. All right, let me know, babe. He was at work, or allegedly at work. I go down to Don McGill. I'm down there 4 hours tops. I come out with a brand new 2021 Toyota RAV4. Beautiful. I get home, park it in the garage. I said, babe, I got a new truck. You know, life was, at that point, in my opinion, my life was going okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. I had my husband, half of a husband. I had a new truck. I had a new baby. You know, my oldest was on point. Like, you know, everything was everything. He's still paying bills, y'all. Still paying the bills. So he comes home and he was like, babe, I'm so glad you got a new vehicle. He said, because to be honest with you, my shit is on this last leg. Now, he had a 2018 maybe Nissan Altima. It might not even been an 18. It might have been like a 16 or 17. It was older. I remember it. It smelled like weed because he smoked. You know, it was pretty raggedy because he got it from Shabana Motors. And so I said, how about you go to work tomorrow, and I'm gonna go back down to Don McGill. He said, okay. So I go back down to Don McGill and I said, hey, my husband need a vehicle. They said, okay. What kind of vehicle does he have? I said, he has a 20 whatever Toyota Nissan Altima. I said, he said, well, you know, can he bring it in? So he brings it in. He worked at morning shift, so he brought it in. And they took a look at it and they said, you know, we can get you in a car today if you want to. He said, okay, cool. Now, mind y'all, in one of those parts, I told y'all his credit was outstanding, allegedly. We get there. He gets there. They examine the car. They tell him, we can only give you, I think it was like $7 grand for the car. He was like, okay, that's better than nothing. He said, so we're going to get you to, you know, fill out this paperwork or whatever. You know, everything is electronic or whatever. He said, but, you know, let's see what your credit comeback is. His credit came back at a whopping 437. I was in shock. I said, how your credit score of 437 and you just said a couple months ago you ready to get a house and you told me at the beginning that your credit was outstanding, nigga. And he was like, yeah, a couple of my hospital bills that hit me these past couple of months. I said, hospital bills? He said, yeah, I got some old hospital bills from when I had my gastric sleeve that ain't been paid. So they just hitting my, they hitting my credit. I said, okay. I said, so now what? He said, babe, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I ain't gonna cap. I really do need another car. Y'all know exactly what's next. I co-signed for that man to get a brand new 2021 Toyota Camry. I really wish I still had the picture so that I could show y'all the picture of us with 2 red bows on those vehicles. Both black, both brand new, no miles on it. Now we're moving to the next part. Part 15, the lies he told. So we leave the car lot. We make it home. Both of us are ecstatic because we have brand new cars. And I told him, I remember specifically saying to him, listen, I put my name on this car for you. I know how important it is to have good, reliable transportation to go to and from work. So don't fuck me over. If it ever comes to a point where you cannot make the payments on this car, let me know. Because, of course, since he's paying the household bills, I said I will step in and I will chip in on whatever it needs, whatever happens. And so he says to me, babe, I got you. I would never fuck up your credit. I would never do that. It is important to note that when I signed for the car, the payments were $723 a month on a Camry. His car note was higher than my RAV4 note. I had a good trade-in, not so much him. I know, I believe the lies again. You'll see how they fucked me over in the end. So, I told him, I said, next week I am going to start looking for a rental home. Because at this point, I knew that he couldn't get a house based on his credit score. I had just bought 2 vehicles on my credit, so I knew I probably wasn't going to be able to get as much house as I wanted to for the amount that, I could get pre-approved for. So I didn't even think about buying a home with him. I said, let's just do a rental. And that's what we did. We started looking at rental homes on Zillow. I would send them to him while he was at work. And I would say, hey, I like this one. I like this one. And so me being the person that I am, I said, since you travel very far to go to work, let's try to find a home that's closer to your job at Fish City Grill. He was making good money there, as I thought. And I just assumed that he was going to stay at that job. I did not know that in the next 6 months, he would no longer be at that job. We found a rental home in Fresno, Texas. It was for $15.95 a month. It was 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Beautiful home. My cousin lives a street over, so it worked out. Also, my cousin and his wife that tried to help us like with premarital counseling or whatever, they lived in Iowa Colony. And so we were down the street from them. We had already said, hey, y'all gonna be the godparents to our baby. And they were. So I was excited. At townhouses or apartment complexes, you have to put in a 60-day notice. So I put in a 60-day notice, made sure the mail was forwarded out there, all of that good stuff. Now, I was set to go back into the office. I had got a promotion at my job. I was set to go back to work at the end of February, but I asked my new boss, is there any way that I could come in to the office after I move into my new home? He said, yes. I got the babies a daycare out that way, and we moved in, and life started from there. Now, when we made it to Fresno, things became a little different. Reason being is because I had better access to go to his restaurant. And I would always go up there to Fish City Grill. I knew everybody there. They knew me. And I was also able to have a better commute heading downtown. So he would take the kids to school in the morning. I would pick them up. So every morning I was going into the office around 5:45, 6 o'clock. I would be off by 2:30, 3 o'clock, go get the kids from school, He, again, yet again, he always worked, you know, like a mid to late shift. So he would always go to work at like 1 and would get off whenever they closed. So if they shut down at 10 or 11, he would get home about 12 or 1. And that was just the restaurant business. I didn't think anything of it. So now we're in March. So March, we're kicking it off good. We love the new house. You know, he's like, babe, I'm so glad that we stuck it out. You know, I appreciate it because you believed in me when nobody else. My mom said to me when I first met you, like, you know, why would somebody like her want somebody like you? And, you know, she kind of crushed me a little bit, but in the same token, you kind of uplifted me. And to truly be honest, that's the only thing that I felt was genuine out of Jared's mouth, because I did really help him through a lot of things. So one day I was doing laundry and I noticed that there was something that looked like a sweet tart that was on top of my dryer. And oh, another important thing that I need to tell you is that everything in the house I purchased with either my credit financing or I paid for it outright. So the washer and dryer is mine. Furniture is mine. I bought us a king size bedroom set from Furniture Queen and Katie. Shout out to Furniture Queen. They've been rocking with me for the longest. Like, I mean, I had the house fully furnished when we moved in. There was nothing missing, nothing at all. Made sure that we were straight. And I seen this thing on the dryer. And I said to myself, this got to be some candy or something from the baby. So I discarded it. I ain't think nothing of it. Eventually, I found another one. This time it was on the ottoman. And so I'm like, damn, what is this? Like, is my oldest bringing like candy home from school or something? Like, what is this? It looked like a sweet tart. You know, sweet tarts are different colors. They be orange, they be blue, they be white, they be light blue. You know, they be different colors. So I'm thinking it's fucking candy. I'm thinking it's candy. So I discarded that again. All right. So now, we're going to transfer over to May. Now, we're in May of 2021. In May of 2021, he would always carry a book bag. I bought him a Coach backpack. And when I bought that backpack, he was happy about the backpack because he said, babe, this is so nice. I paid $500 for that Coach bag. Why? $500. I did. But I never knew what he carried in that book bag. Never knew. And so one Sunday morning, he was asleep, but he left the book bag in the guest bathroom by the kids' bedroom on the other side of the house. I walk in there because I was cleaning up. I was probably doing laundry or something, and I was cleaning up, and I said, let me look in this book bag. The fuck be in this book bag? And when I opened that book bag up, y'all, I found a baggie of different color pills that was in that bag. Orange, blue, and white. I immediately took a picture of the bag that it was in. And I sent it to my cousin. And I said, what do you think this is? My cousin around the corner. And she said, I don't know, but I got a pharmacy friend. Let me find out. She sent it to whomever the friend was. And she told me, she said, now, according to him, he says that it looks like Addie's, it looks like Speed, and it looks like some type of pain med. But those are street pills. She said, Jill, where you get that shit from? I said, well, it came out of Jared's book bag. She said, you might want to ask him about that. You might want to ask him about that. I said, okay. All right. So I flushed him down the toilet before I asked. Because at that point, I knew that I was dealing with a man that not only lied, but that was also taking street pills and was possibly addicted to them. Part 16, the lies he told. So I flushed these drugs down the toilet. One thing I knew about my ex-husband was that he smoked hella weed. I knew that. I knew that. And I never smoked with him either. But there were times where he would call the weed man, and the weed man would pull up to the townhouse that we lived in, or pulled up to the home that we were living in Fresno. And it could have been two different niggas. I don't know. But he would always have product. I knew that he wasn't dealing. I knew that he was actually doing the shit. I knew it. So, because I would smell the smoke, he would sit in the garage for hours when he would get off, and he would never be able to go to sleep. There were so many signs that I missed. Some of the signs that I missed was he hardly ever slept. He was always on go. He really wasn't very active in the bed like that. It was wishy-washy, you know. It was then it was then, and then it was might have been, you know, that type of stuff. So there were different signs that could have pointed to, okay, this man might also be doing something other than weed. But it never dawned on me that he might be into street pills. Never did. Because I really never saw that man take them either. But he always had that book bag with him. All right. So I flushed him down the toilet, and I asked him. I woke him up out of his sleep, actually. I said, Jerry, get up real quick. He said, what's wrong, babe? The baby okay? Yeah, the baby okay, nigga. I said, I got a question. I had went through your book bag. Okay, for what? I said, you taking drugs? Like you taking street pills? He said, that ain't none of your fucking business, man. I said, that ain't none of my fucking business. That's crazy. In my motherfucking house, you raising your voice. I said, that is my business. Because I've been seeing that shit trailing through my fucking house where my kids could get a hold of this shit. I said, so you on drugs. You taking street pills, ain't it? And I told him, I said, now you gonna either quit that shit, or you can go ahead and get on up out of here. Because one thing I'm not going to do is put my kids in harm's way, fucking around with you, getting like this, and you leaving drugs every fucking where. That man looked at me and he said, I ain't going to never fucking stop, and you can leave me if you want to. And y'all, I know y'all been waiting on it. But that is the day that I waited for him to go in that room and start ironing them clothes for work. When I tell you I unplugged that iron, and I put that iron on the floor. He said, what you doing? I picked up that motherfucking ironing board and I beat the fuck out that man in my baby's bedroom. I said, because what you not gonna do is you not gonna fucking disrespect me no more. Don't raise your fucking voice at me. I'ma beat your ass every time, bitch. And I meant that shit. I meant it, y'all. I really did. I beat that man with that fucking ironing board. I did. And I called my mama. And I told her, I said, I beat Jared ass with the ironing board. She said, don't do that. Don't get yourself so mad that you do something like that. I said, man, fuck that nigga, man. Fuck that nigga. So I tell her, I say, mama, he on drugs. He on drugs. So now we know that he lying, he on drugs. He go to work that day, he don't come home. Now this is the pattern that he starts of coming home and just leaving out when he want to. Don't know where he at, can't get a hold of him on the phone. He just coming in and out when he want to at this point. This is May of 2021. At the end or close to the end of May, my oldest at the time, he was getting ready to graduate pre-K and he was going to kindergarten. Mind you, I told you that both of my kids, I found a good daycare for them. So in August, my son was transitioning to the elementary school outside of that subdivision that we were in. So his pre-K school had a graduation ceremony for him. I wouldn't have never thought that my ex-husband would have missed this, but he did. He said, babe, I got a lot of people that done called out today. I'm not going to make Walker's graduation. I said, all right, man, it's cool. Part of me didn't want to really go by myself because at the time, me and Walker's daddy wasn't seeing eye to eye, and he was a little jaded because I had another baby, and, you know, he still loved me a little bit, but he married now, but, you know, I love his wife. I love his wife. So, I go to the graduation, and I sit through it. I'm happy. I'm proud. Walker goes with his dad for the weekend because it was a Friday. And I decided that I was going to go up to Fish City Grill to get me something to eat. Me and Jared, we not on the best of terms, but I said, you know what? I'm going to go up here. I went up there, and as soon as I hit that door with that stroller, one of the best servers that was there, she was the sweetest thing. I don't even remember that baby name. But she walked up to me and she said, Mrs. such and such. She said, how you doing tonight? I said, I'm good. And she had a look of confusion on her face. I said, where's my husband? And she said, he got off 2 hours ago. It was like 6:30 in the evening. I said, impossible. He missed my son's graduation because he said he was going to be working. Y'all didn't have enough people on shift. She said, oh, we have a full staff tonight. He told us that he was leaving for the night about 2 hours ago. So 2 hours ago would have been like 4:30. The graduation started at like 5. So I said, oh no, boo, let me call him. So she's standing right there. The restaurant packed. It really wasn't even nowhere to sit in there. So I kind of pull over to the side of the door. I make a phone call. He don't answer me. Doop. Called again. Doop. Forwarding my calls to voicemail. I said, baby, do me a favor. Bring me y'all restaurant cordless phone. So I called him from the restaurant phone. He picked up on the first fucking ring. Hello, this is Jared. I said, where the fuck you at, man? Where you at, nigga? Babe, wait a minute, babe. I had to go to Sam's to get something for the restaurant. I said, you a motherfucking cold case lie, bitch. I said, these people done told me that you done got off 2 hours ago and you missed Walker motherfucking graduation for what? Where the fuck you at, man? And I'm going in the restaurant. The lady said, Mrs. Such and Such. Mrs. Such and Such. Okay. I said, you lying. You a lying ass bitch. I said, but don't worry about it. I'm going to get your ass when we get home. Don't worry. I got you. I hung up that phone. I said, baby, I appreciate you. She said, can I get you a water? Can I get you a salad to go? Can I get you anything? I said, babe, I don't have an appetite. That man done lied to me. I said, is there any chance that y'all would have needed something in their kitchen? Any chance that y'all would have needed something in their kitchen? And he might have went to a local Sam's or a Kroger and got some ingredients or something, because that's what he told me. She said, ma'am, Jared told us that he was going home for the evening. We are not expecting him to come back. He is gone. When I called him on that cordless phone, I could hear the wind gushing in the background like he had his window down in his car. So he was off for sure. But I have no idea where he was or who he was with or what he was doing. According to him, he was going to Sam's Club because the restaurant needed something in the kitchen. Part